Hello and welcome to the Caterham 7 160S. It's the entry level model from the brand, but is it any good? So you're probably wondering what the S stands for. Nope, it doesn't make the car any sportier, but it does mean it's got the S pack, which gives you fully carpeted interior, a windscreen, doors, black leather seats, a Momo steering wheel, a heater, a 12-volt socket and a choice of 4 paint finishes. This will cost you almost £3,000 extra, but trust me, you're likely to kick yourself if you don't get it. So underneath that long retro style bonnet is a 3-cylinder 660cc Suzuki engine which produces, wait for it, 80 horsepower. Now that may not sound like much, but because the car is so light, it's able to hit 60 miles per hour in 6.9 seconds and the top speed is 100 miles per hour. But what's it like to drive?
It's pretty nippy. As mentioned, 0 to 60, 6.9 seconds, top speed of 100 miles per hour. Top speed isn't much to shout about, but 6.9 seconds to 60, it's not too bad. And it's mated to this lovely 5-speed manual gearbox, which is really precise. The throws are extremely short and it's just crisp. And of course, the steering is absolutely fantastic. There's no power steering. In fact, there's no electronic aid at all. The only aid to drive this car is the person sat in it, controlling the pedals, controlling the steering. This is a real driver's car. It's absolutely fantastic. And just listen to it. Don't forget, this is a 3-cylinder 660cc engine. Now let me drop it down 1 or 2 gears. Oh, now you wouldn't expect that, would you? Now it is turbocharged, so you will hear a few turbo whooshes now and then, which sound fantastic. Let me pop it into 4th. Foot down. Hear it? Oh, I love turbo noise. Absolutely love it. You're never too old to enjoy turbo noise, surely. Oh, oh. I'm sorry. I can't help it. I just love it. It's so addictive. It's about as addictive as putting cocaine onto Oreos. Now, I really wasn't expecting this car to make this kind of noise. It's like watching a kitten roar like a lion. You just wouldn't expect it from such a small thing. It just sounds so meaty, so purposeful. And one thing I love about this car is that it's so precise. It's like a surgeon's scalpel. You really know where the car is going. The steering is fantastic. You can see the wheels, you can see the suspension, you can really see what the car is doing. So as a driver, the communication is at an all-time high. It's absolutely fantastic. And it just absolutely puts a smile on your face. And in all honesty, what more do you want from a car?
It may only pack 80 horsepower, but the reason why it's so quick off the line is because it weighs just 490 kilograms. 490! That makes it one of the lightest cars money can buy.
I will confess, this model is a tad heavier than 490 kilograms, purely because it has a windscreen, it has the doors and a few extras that come with the S-Pack that I've already mentioned. But even so, it's still absolutely featherweight, and it's probably tip of scales just over 500 kilograms, and it's so light. It's half the weight of a Mazda MX-5, and the Mazda MX-5 isn't exactly a heavy car, is it? So as you can probably tell, the cabin is rather cramped, so you need to think carefully about which passengers you have, because the chances are you've got to get to know them quite well. When you've got a passenger sat here, every time you go from the handbrake, you're going to rub elbows. Every time you go to change gear, you're probably going to elbow them. So yeah, it certainly adds to the charm of the car. It does take practice getting in and out of the 160S. When I first got it, trying to get into it, it was about as difficult as trying to get into a nun's knickers. But through time, you do get used to it, and it does get easier. Although when the roof is up, my headroom just completely goes. And one thing I love about this car, because it hasn't got a great deal of power and it's light, you can really throw it into corners, and it handles so well. You can feel exactly what the car's doing. It's not scary, but it's goddamn fun. And sometimes, just sometimes, you can get the back end out just a little bit, which of course adds to the fun. Now I love this bit of the road that's coming up. Right, on the brakes, in second, it's all a bit sideways. Oh! That's what I mean by you can't get it just a little bit sideways when you want to.
There is, however, a slight problem. It's not what you'd call cheap. Yes, it starts at £16,995, but for that you'll be required to build the car yourself, and you won't get the S-Pack. So, if you do want the S-Pack, and you do want the car to be built by a professional, the price does start to creep up a little.
You're looking at almost £22,500, and for that you can buy a Mazda MX-5 and get changed. Now I'm biased because I own a Mazda MX-5, and that too is a brilliant car, and it's more practical, but it's just not quite as crisp as this Caterham is. It's absolutely brilliant. So if you want to build the car yourself, and if you don't want the windscreen, the doors and the other extras, you're looking at £16,995, which is a lot more reasonable, but you will need to build the car yourself.
The slightly inflated price tag isn't the 7160S's only problem though. As mentioned, it's quite difficult to get in and out of, the boot is tiny, the roof takes forever to put up, the indicators don't self-cancel, the pedals are quite close together, so you'll probably have to drive barefoot to operate them properly, and you'll have to avoid speed humps like the plague. But you know what? When you're driving it, you simply won't care about any of these problems.
If this car can't put a smile on your face, then you simply have no love for driving whatsoever, because it's absolutely fantastic.
So, the Caterham 7 160S is not particularly cheap, it's not particularly practical. The boot is about the same size as my pocket, but you know what? I really couldn't care less, because as a tool for driving, this is simply brilliant. And although if you want it built by Caterham and you want the S-Pack, which I'm sure you probably will, that will cost you, like I've already said already, 22.5 grand. But you know what? You really can't put a price on that, because this car is so much fun to drive. I would happily have it in my dream garage. Happily.